It says the market's up. S&P 500 is up today 0.70%. NASDAQ is also up 1.1%. Alphabet, Apple, Meta, Tesla, they are all up today. It says it's both riding a wave of renewed AI optimism and strength in semiconductors and big techs. So there's a bounce back after the July 4th long weekend, with tech leading the recovery from the recent chip stock weakness. Then oil is moving sideways, with the price currently trading around $68, and the pressure is coming from two directions. Energy flow through the Strait of Hormuz have currently recovered, easing the supply. What else? Saudi Arabia and Russia just approved another output of increased 1,888,000 barrels per day for next month.
There would be a rally higher in things like Apple and tech. We talked about that.
Yeah.
With the emphasis is on the 10-day cycle that happens after the first 20-day cycle, after your larger trough. You know what I'm saying? That 80-day trough. And once you have that trough, that 80-day, you have that 20-day right after. And then what you get is another 10-day. And that's like, around this time. Right now, it's
Okay.
the first 10-day cycle after the 20-day. And you know that. I know that. The viewers will figure it out eventually once they just figure it out. The trade is not to get too excited, right? It's just to sell a put credit spread, not a credit, a put credit spread. Uh, Sell a put credit spread on that time window, and as it says, you should be okay. I don't think this is just a normal. S&P 500 does look like it has that extra boost provided to it from the first 10-day cycle, man, of the second 20-day cycle, but it shouldn't go too far, only to the top here. So it's basically neutral to bullish to neutral, based off some it's neutral or bullish because there's a lot of markets that are receiving flows right now. That's just the way it is. And S&P 500 shows you the truth, which is not to get too excited. This is a not to get too excited market, but when we get that position, really, we have to just use the scan here. If you want to look for 20 and 40-day bullish FLD crosses, guys. This is basically what I'm about. There's a few on here you can see. I don't need to get too excited. I can just go to maybe some smaller stocks because, as you know, dude, there's a lot of um, you know, other instruments that look pretty bullish, like Russell. When you get like this, you can look for microcap stocks. Look at this on the Russell 2000. Like I said, a lot of flows are moving in. Flows to funds, wide and varying flows. What are some of the names today on the microcaps list, Amika? Because the microcaps are the things that seem to have gotten some interest here. We should look at those a lot more closely. But here's Boeing on today's FLD 40-day cross, as well as the previous trading day. It did cross as well. That's a second day play. How do you do that? You just buy one or two shares of Boeing or three shares. Not a recommendation, obviously, but you asked me how to do that. That's the easiest way, or to use options on credit spreads as part of the plan shown in the link down below for the book to download.
Okay.
I don't have any other way to explain it to you, but that's why when you see Boeing do that, which is a huge stock, defense stock, you should immediately look at it, especially when it has this volume. Just looking for these names. You see, there's a ton of them, but we only want to use the ones with the highest volume, not the highest relative volume. The first filter is volume, obviously. So it looks like to me that a bunch of people decided to trade this. I don't think that that presents as an opportunity as part of our framework. But we did mention Apple on the last. Uh, we mentioned Apple on the last report, Amika, and it looks like it had a great day afterwards. It today up point 1.3% at the close. Further confirmation that there might be a late cycle on the NASDAQ. Unless it turns around pretty fast here, I'm looking at the chart. If it does break above 317.50 Apple, then we don't really care whether or not the 80-day cycle failed because it's so temporary that perhaps it was just fundamental interaction and you don't have to worry about it. Meaning, we can just say it was a late 80-day cycle. Um, Actually, we'll post David Hickson's. Oh, here's another great mover today, but still not something we'd be interested in. But MSTR is definitely a winner. Look at it. It's moved down for the last 2 months or more, and then it runs into the 20-day FLD and has a great day. Came up on the watch list this morning. Again, inside the book, all these filters and scans you can set for yourself, or you can, um, you know, look at them intraday as well. There's a workspace link created for Thinkorswim. So we're going to link to Thinkorswim download as well here, just because it's built in that for anybody as a beginner to have the best moving stocks for that day. That's all you're worried about. Um, Tomorrow, this is still in play here. It's not, but let's see something with high relative volume because that would be the most interesting one, if there's any. Arista Networks comes up with high volume. What do you call it? Relative volume today.
Mhm.
That's a very good one. But ICE, which is the exchange for Russell, same thing. High relative volume. You have to come in here and use some discretion on your picks unless you filter it. I use my eye to filter it a little bit, but that's only because we're reviewing it slowly. Nothing really. It's all pretty much buried down in here. But there's plenty of opportunity just on the names that it found here for you, the 20-day FLD. Let's look at um, bearish setups. Oh, what do you know? First up the top is ZIM. This one is something that everybody's familiar with. It's been bearish, so it's probably ready to go even lower. If it's going lower now, it's probably going to go much lower. You know what I mean? Here's the daily
Yeah.
chart. Moving on. Tilray. Target. Target was a short today on the list. Kohl's. So retailers got beat up. You need to be in retailers today. When you see two retailers down, obviously the whole sector's down. Best to put in a short. What is a short? 1 to 3 shares. That's enough. You can short 1 to 3 shares of something
Mhm.
for the day, or maybe close it tomorrow. Um, Close it tomorrow or sometime in the week and try to get a profit. If you get a profit, that's a successful trade. Anyways, and that makes you a trader. Starbucks is down, but not on big volume. Not too many people shorting today. Everything was buying basically. There's nothing you can do when a day like this except to buy. Nobody's gonna tell you what to do. You have to do it yourself. So, um, and you don't have to collect more than 1 to 2% per day in order to be successful. You know what I mean? You can do everything inside your app, your Robinhood or your CFDs account, or you can let us do it in Advice Trader Premium.